It's, I don't know the episode number today, but it's one of the 6th episode. So we've spoken to you with our education channel yesterday, and we've updated you with lots of information with Tasmania, studying in Tasmania and migration pathways in Tasmania. Today, we would like to focus about a few other topics, especially there are some updates, very new breaking news in with Queensland updates. So we will talk and update and inform you about all of those. Again, welcome everyone. My name is Sirus. I'm a registered migration agent here in Australia. And I've got my wife next to me, Ashani Yapa, and she's a registered migration agent as well. So we've got lots of news to share with you today. In the initial part of the video, we're going to talk to you about the latest updates, and we will keep you informed with most of the latest updates and the information
especially
that we
to
want
do
to
with
inform you.
Queensland. So we will go through all the new updates that came out yesterday from BSMQ about Queensland visas for 491 small business and also normal
188
business
visas and
and
there's a whole heap.
also we will dig deep into how you can qualify for a Queensland nomination for 491 small business and also the 491 working in regional visa, how you can plan your pathway for Queensland. So we will dig deep into that and give you some tips of how to get ready for Queensland. And also we will give you about 10-15 minutes. We will answer all your questions at the end of the session. So please, if you have any questions when we are talking, please feel free to post your questions in the comments for YouTube or in Facebook. And then we will give you a chance and answer all your questions for 10-15 minutes at the end of once we finish talking.
And my favorite part, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, please hit that subscribe button right now, and that'll be a big help to us and also to you. Every time we post this latest news, you'll be the first one to know about it that way. And if you're a Facebook fan, please like our page and be one of our very close friends in Facebook page. We've done a lot of online activities this week. We've spoken about skill pathways in Tasmania, and Tasmania's got lots of incentives at the moment. And also, Ashani's released a really good 482 work visa pathway information a couple of days ago. It's all over internet at the moment. So if you are planning or if you're looking to hire overseas staff, or if you're looking to work as an overseas employee in Australia, there's lots of good information for you to know. And Mr. Willem Ulster, he's got a lot of experience behind visa refusals, complicated migration issues. So he's a senior registered migration agent in Australia. He's released a very good video about visa cancellations and refusals with frequently asked questions, how to structure your refusal process or cancellation or appeal process. So today we will talk, as we discussed, we will talk about these updates now, and then in about 15 minutes into the session, we will give you opportunity to ask many questions as much as you like. And we're trying to plan this session for about half an hour. If you have any questions, as Ashani said, please type it in the comment section or in YouTube or Facebook. We will get through to all of them. And if we couldn't answer all the questions towards the end of the session, we will then post you the answers through those channels. With the YouTube, because the channel is only open and during the session, we will repost the video. So once we finish the video, you can repost your question again if you haven't answered it by then. So talking about Queensland, last night a big session happened. We had some last minute clients we had to push through. I'm talking about the greatest 188 visa category. So 188 visa from BSMQ has been closed last night, temporary for invitation. So whoever hasn't applied for your 188 visa, you can apply it in April. They're reconsidering to apply
In April, they will tell us if they're going to reopen the business program this financial year. If not, they will reopen the business program next financial year, which is hopefully in July, August. So right now the program is closed.
So I just wanted to reiterate the fact that 188 visas, the business visas, getting changed, or the benchmarks and requirements getting higher. The benchmarks being lifted from 1st of July, the next financial year, 1st of July 2020-21. So there are still other states open, and Queensland is expecting to open back again on 1st of April, or they will inform us whether they're going to do it or not.
Somewhere in April.
Yeah. So if you are planning to apply for a business visa, this is the best time, and there's you can still apply under the existing criteria. If you have any queries, please be in touch. We will help you all the way from the get-go to the submission to establishing the visa. We will always establishing the business. We will always guide you all the way through to your 888 visa. That's the permanent residency pathway after 2 years or 4 years, depending on your circumstances. So that's business visa updates from BSMQ Queensland. And the next big one is 491 and 190 in Queensland has been closed, but 491 small business is still operating. But there is a big twist coming to 491 small business, which, as we were discussing earlier, if you have full-time work rights and had a skill assessment, if you came and bought a business in regional Australia, regional Queensland, you were able to apply for this small business ownership, but the business that you're acquiring has to be $100,000 minimum. So the new change is, earlier you could purchase the business for 60,000, 50,000, 40,000, whatever the number, and recapitalize in the business to bring that amount to 100,000 or above, and that was accepted. But as of 1st of April, was it 1st of April?
Yeah, so if you purchase the business before 1st of April, it's all good. This will not affect you. So if you're already in Queensland, purchased the business, getting ready, don't be scared. It will not affect you. But if you're planning this pathway after 1st of April, a few things have changed. First, the purchase price has to be $100,000. Second big change is the business has to be pre-existed in Queensland, running in that location for 2 years, and you can't buy like sublease businesses like franchise petrol stations or home running businesses like courier services or cleaning services as part of this business that you're going to buy. So it has to be a proper business that's been established in Queensland, regional Queensland, for 2 years, and you must pay at least $100,000 as the purchasing price. They have come up with these rules. I know sometimes it could be a bit disappointing to you, but be encouraged by this. This is so this program can last long, and this program can serve its purpose to find the genuine business people who are going to help boost.
So the whole purpose of this 491 sector is to grow I shouldn't say Queensland, grow regional Australia. So 491 small business owner program that was introduced by BSMQ, the Queensland governing authority, is to develop Queensland, and it is very attractive, especially this small business owner category. I know there's similar programs at the moment in Tasmania, and South Australia is introducing a new one as well. Tasmanian small business owner category, there are strict exclusions which Queensland doesn't have at the moment. One of the other things that you have to be aware of is the business has to be at least 6 months old, so it cannot be a business that was.
So that's in Tasmania.
No, in Queensland.
2 years. It was 1 year. Now it's going to be 2 years from
For
1st of
Tasmania.
April.
I'm talking about
Over
Queensland.
Tasmania.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about
So
Queensland.
Queensland, it has to be.
6 months
Oh,
old.
you have to run the business for 6 months
Run
before you can apply.
apply for your 491 visa.
EOI.
Yes. So, well, it's not a permanent resident, but after 3 years, you can apply through 191 category to become a permanent resident. With this 491 category, it's still a point-based system, but you only need 50 by your own because the state gives you 15 points.
Yes.
Um,
So I think as a part of the next section of the session, we will now look into how you can get into a 491 visa in the perspective of an international student. So if you're an international student studying in Queensland, what can you do to be ready for a 491 visa? So
Good
what
topic.
so what we can do right now is look at what were the requirements when BSMQ opened this time for 491. Actually, they only open for very restricted amount of occupations because of the COVID recovery, and we are hoping that this will change hopefully next year, and they'll be open for wider array of occupations.
Yeah.
But even if you forget about the occupation, what you need to do. So, as an international student, you have to study. You can be studying in anywhere in Australia because Queensland doesn't really give priority to anyone who studied in Queensland or anything like this when they open.
Not fair.
So once you complete your studies, if you studied a bachelor's degree, master's, PhD, you can get a 485 visa, or the next step is the TR for 2 years all the way up to 4 years. So once you're in this TR, and if you studied a trade course, like a 2-year mechanic course or chef, telecommunications, there are wide variety of trade courses out there these days. Painting and decorating, carpentry. If you
Building and
study
construction.
building and construction, if you studied a trade course, then you get your 485 visa for 1.5 years. So what's next? It's really important to use your 485 visa right. So once you have your subclass 485 visa, then you need to look at what other things do I need to do to qualify for subclass 491 visa. Step 1, you need to find occupation. You need to find a job in your nominated occupation in a regional Queensland suburb. So those suburbs are out there, published on the Home Affairs website. You can go and find out which suburbs, and you can apply for jobs and try to get a job in a regional area. For example, I handled one 485 for one of my clients who we enrolled to college, and we got her the 485. She's a registered nurse. She got her registration. She found a job in Toowoomba, and we applied for her subclass 491. She got the official invitation today.
Congratulations.
The journey took her less than 9 months into her 485, and she already has her subclass 491 invitation, and we are going to lodge the visa next week. So it doesn't have to take 5 years, 10 years to get to your dream if you plan it properly. Whichever the course you're studying, whichever the occupation you're going to get, I'll go back to my point. So find a job, because for subclass 491, you have to be working in the regional area in your nominated occupation for at least 3 years before you submit your EOI. So that is the current requirement. Hasn't changed since it started in Queensland.
Yeah.
So find a job, start working in your occupation.
Yeah.
So it could be a registered nurse, for example. And the next step, you need to look at what registration requirement you have. For registered nurse, you need to have a registration, and so you apply for your registration, get the registration if it's needed for your occupation, and then you start working. So the next step is you need to look at your English. To qualify for subclass 491 visa, you need to have minimum competent English, which is equivalent to 6 in IELTS. If you have 7 in IELTS, or superior English 18 equivalent in IELTS. So it could be PTU or any other test as well, but I'm just using IELTS as an example. So the next step is improving your English and getting that score. So this score can be valid for 3 years. But if you haven't got that done, please work on that, because if you can get 10 points towards your score from your English, that's a big achievement. So first thing, a job. Second thing, work on your English. Get at least 6 in each because that's a mandatory requirement.
So with 189, 190, 491 visas, one of the common factor is you always have to fulfill the federal government requirement, which is you need to have a skill assessment and IELTS 6 in each band.
Yeah.
And then there'll be for 491 and 190 visas, you'll have the state government requirements as well on top of it, because for 190, state will provide you 5 points, and for 491, the government will provide you 15 points. The state government.
So that brings us to the next point. So now you have a job. Now you have got your English done. So the next requirement is you need to have a skill assessment. So when you completing your studies, at the end, you will find out how to get a skill assessment. Please be mindful, finding the nominated occupation and getting the right skill assessment is a key factor in getting ready for 491. Could be any state, but we are focusing on Queensland today. So, for example, a nurse, she only needs to complete her bachelor's degree to get the skill assessment.
Yeah.
For an accountant, for engineers, for IT people, you may need to do a professional year, or you may have to work for 1 year to get your full skill assessment.
Yeah.
For tradespeople, you may have to go through the job ready program. So I can't really tell you exactly how to get the skill assessment, so because it will depend on yourself. So talk to someone. Yes, talk to someone about what you studied and how to get the skill assessment. It's very important. Try to get the skill assessment in the first year of your 485. Don't wait for the last minute.
It's not only for when you do a nominating an occupation, not only for 189, 190, 485, those visas. It's also critical to understand what occupation do you really nominate for other visas like 482 and 494 visas as well.
I'm not talking about that. I'm just focusing on that's right. Because 491 in Queensland.
Okay, let's do 491. We faced a problem about a cook and a chef this morning. Someone put someone into a cook, and we now want to get his chef qualities up. He's got so we'll come back to that.
Yeah, so we are now focusing on 491 in Queensland. Now you have a job. Now you have got your skills assessment, and now you have the right English.
Yeah.
Then you can calculate your points to see how many points you need. Luckily for Queensland right now, they've said this time when they open, 65 points is enough.
Yeah.
And we have received invitations from 65 points. So for those people who are struggling with points, maybe you can't get the full points for your age. Maybe you're over 33 or you're close to 45. Then it's easier for you to target 50 points on your own from your English, from your qualifications and those things.
Yeah.
So as long as you have 65 points, you have been working in Queensland Regional for 3 months, and you have the right English, you have the skill assessment, then you're ready for your EOI. Currently, Queensland is closed. So if you're in that scenario, then you wait for Queensland to open again. So as I said, it's not very difficult to achieve your permanent residency goal, but you need to plan it early. So for you to do the things that I told you just before, what you need to do, you need to start preparing when you're a student. First, you need to find out what am I studying? Do I like it? Is this going to benefit me in the future? Because once we look at it, we can sort of predict what's going to happen in the next couple of years, if you look at the industry-wise. So once you understand that, then you have to really get a plan and set some dates in stone. I'm going to get my English done. I'm going to try and find a job. I'm going to get my skills assessment. Don't wait until your end of second year of your 485. You start it from the day you start your 485, and we have seen that we have helped many clients. As I said, my client who got the invite for 491 today, it only took her 8-9 months.
Look, we all been international students, so we all know the full story about them. So, guys, do a good plan and stick to it. That's very important. So
yeah, that's right. So I think that's it from me for now about how you can get ready for your subclass 491. Again, get in touch with a good migration agent who's handling skilled visas and who has an idea about student visas and international students as well, and get a really good plan. I know it's not easy to find a job at first instance. Sometimes it can be quite daunting for international students. Go and work volunteer. Try to apply for 100 jobs a day. Do whatever you need to do to find that job, because each and every state is coming out with requirement which is showing us if you don't have a job, you're hardly going to get an state's invitation. So even though we don't like it, that's what it looks like. So it's really important to get your foot in the door and somehow find some employment.
Yeah, look, I mean, having all that in mind, the other day we were in a seminar with the Tasmanian government, and
Or move to Tasmania.
this gentleman pointed out a really good point that I always tell: what's the best way to get the permanent residency, or what's the best way to get what's the most demanded course in Australia? Guess what? He had the same opinion, and I was so proud of what he brought up. What he said is, if you like something, just stick to what you like, and regardless, there'll be a good way if you're good at what you're doing. So if you're doing cybersecurity as your studies, and if you're trying to set up cleaning businesses, that's not what you should be doing. So, I mean, only an example, but if you stick to what you're doing and if you're really good at it, there's always a way for it.
If you like what you're doing, if you have a passion, that's right.
And that's what Australia wants, and that's what the territory governments and state governments want as well. They want your skills. Australia is a nation full of skilled migrants, and I don't want to go too much into it, but
So I think it's time that we move on
to some of the questions. Yes.
Right.
I've got a really good, easy answer that I'll answer Mr. Patel Gazal. I think you submitted your application between 1 and 7th of February, and seeing what's happening, they're processing. So if you applied, your application is still processing, even if you haven't heard back from the state government or BSMQ. Whole
they
time
are processing.
They're
There
processing
may
the
be a
funds.
chance you will get an invitation. If not, you can try April.
Okay, I've got.
You can go to
So we got a question from Facebook, Mr. Manoj Basnet. Hello, as I have qualification. This thing's changes. I have qualification set 3 in commercial cookery in Australia done. Now in Nepal. Experience almost 5 years, but could not find foreign to sponsorship. So which pathway could I focus on now? Study or still look for sponsorship? See, I think you're qualified. The thing with 482 visa, the work visa, you need to have a sponsor, or you need to have an employer who's willing to employ you. The problem, or I wouldn't say problem, issue with the border restrictions and everything. If I put yourself into the employer's shoes, if you're looking for an employee, and if you have a vacancy right now, if you're looking for the employee to start the job in another 8 months or 9 months, maybe it's sometimes tough. So that way, employers are a bit hesitant. So if there is a way for you to come to Australia and talk to the employers, there'll be a lot more opportunities. I mean, if you have 5 years experience, restaurants and cafe and cooking, hospitality is a tough industry. So there'll be a lot of opportunities, especially in regional Australia. So keep trying. But if you like, just drop an email or be in touch with us. It's admin@sirus.com.au or +617 3361 8177 or 13000 Sirus. All the information are down below on the comment section, so you can be in touch. Don't give up. 5 years experience is a big thing. Don't ridiculously try to jump the ship, try to be a mechanic or something like that. If you're good at your cooking and if you're a chef, just stick to your my opinion and my advice is just stick to what you know and what you do, and you'll find a pathway. Ashana, do you want to add anything to that?
No.
Okay. Thank you. Rahul Saxena. I'm a mechanical engineer with 75 points at the moment, looking for 491 in New South Wales, as it has a lot of options than Queensland, which I am currently residing in. What do you think? Should I move to New South Wales ASAP and try to get a job over there, or any other state? Any other state has more options.
Okay, are you currently working in regional Queensland? That's very important. If you're currently working in regional Queensland, I don't think you should move. We should be able to get you a 491 with 75 points in regional Queensland. So I don't think there is a point to moving if you're currently working. But if you're not working, then try to find a job in any state that is willing to give you a job, because you will need a job to apply for the state nomination.
I mean, if you're a mechanic working in a regional area, forget
Mechanical
about
engineer. It's
mechanical
good.
engineer.
We got an
Forget
invitation
about-
for mechanical engineer for 491 this time around with 80 points. Took us few days. So there is a possibility if you're working
April,
in
they're
regional.
opening up again.
Yeah.
So keep an eye, but there's other options. Maybe give us a call, and also forget about the skill occupations. Maybe you'll be able to find a job in regional. Like, don't just stick yourself to one regional area. Just look around.
Exactly. Any regional state would be
If
a
you
good
get
option.
482,
Get a
494. I don't know how much experience you have. Maybe 186 direct entry permanent residency. So. Rahul,
next
there's a lot of answers for you, so be in touch. We'll give you more answers. So that's done. Patel's done. Nishani Gunasekara. I'm currently doing BTech in hospitality management. What are the possibilities for me to come to Australia? So looks like you're currently studying in Sri Lanka. What options?
Maybe you can come to study for masters in Australia and then look for options. Other than that, right now, offshore migration is quite difficult. So probably look at furthering your studies and completing your studies here, or if you've already completed, then you can come here for
Bachelor of
masters.
Technology with Hospitality. That's the first time I heard.
What's the next one? No, go up a little bit more.
No, that's done. Patel's version. Shariah Ali, 491 visa in Queensland, 80 enough to get a nomination. What's the occupation?
Yeah, depends on your occupation. This
But
time
80 is
again,
already good
8
one.
is enough for Queensland. What they have said when they open, 65 points is enough.
Occupation shift in aged care. Oh.
Yeah, that's a good one actually. As long as we can prove that you're working in aged care sector, get in touch with us if you're interested in applying.
I had a question and it's just disappeared.
That's
Did you
it.
guys do
I
something?
will go to YouTube, answer some questions.
Okay.
I've got Ahmed. Hi, I have applied 190 for software developer with 90 points, but I have not heard anything from BSMQ. Are they giving to software developer or just medical professionals? No, when they open 190 this time, they open for 17 occupations. The closest I can see for your occupations is developer programmer 261312 and score, and software engineer 261313. Just let me know, send me an email and let me know which ANSCO code you nominated. If it's not one of those, then you're not going to get an invitation, because 190 they specifically said only for those 17 occupations. If not, then you should have tried 491.
Yeah.
So get in touch with us. I will look into that and see if we can help you for April. I've got Nihir. Hi, civil engineer 190, New South Wales 90 points. Should I have any chances of New South Wales 190, or should I move to ACT? I have completed my studies. So depends
What
if
occupation?
you're working, civil engineer.
Ah.
Civil engineer with 90 points is pretty good actually. It's over 80, and also depends if you're working, who's your employer and how you're contributing. So these days those things matter as well. But maybe you will have better luck next year if they open in July. So don't know when your visa is expiring. Again, send us an email, give us more information, so we can give you a better answer whether you should move to ACT or not. Maybe you don't have to take that move if you're doing the right steps now to be ready.
Maybe 491 small business owner.
So he doesn't have civil engineering experience in New South Wales, currently studying in Sydney. Right. In this case, as soon as you finish your studies, you graduate. Follow my plan. Told you earlier. Find a job, get the English done, and get your skills assessment ready. That's when you'll be ready for 190. For that, finding a job is key. As I said earlier, I can't tell you how important that is. Tell you enough. So if you can find that job in ACT, then you should move to ACT. Wherever that you can find a job as a civil engineer, then we should look into that state's requirement and see if that's a move that you should take.
485 temporary resident, it's a golden key that you get once a lifetime. So don't just use it up.
Ahmed, you are sorry. Going back to my question, conversation with Ahmed. He is telling me I applied for 261313 software engineer PMS oil. That is quite comment too much on that, because you have a really good point, because they were giving priority for people over 80 points, and you have had 90 and you have nominated the right occupation. You should have got an invitation. I can't really disclose too much information. Maybe get in touch with them, find out what's happening. Get in touch with me. I can maybe help you to get connected with BSMQ and see what's happening.
I've got a question here, really good one from Amila. Amila,
I'll read it.
Yahampat, I go and Amila.
Hi, I'm Amila. Just one question. My wife is a registered nurse in Sri Lanka. Okay, my question disappeared.
Why is it's just someone else?
In Sri Lanka, and she already got an offer. It's okay, I can read it.
Really?
Got an offer to study final year at Australian University. Can she study a graduate course and apply for APRA registration with her 3 years diploma in nursing plus 2 years work experience in Sri Lanka? I'm on a 485 visa and living in Melbourne. Yes, so she will first have to come to Australia, because now for you to complete the bridging program, you have to be in Australia. So if she can come here, which is going to be tricky once the borders open,
yeah. Tricky one, but
if she comes here, finish her bridging program, then she should be able to go through the registration.
Look, there's a lot of hopes for international students in overseas. There are talks everywhere. This is not facts. There'll be opportunities for them to come across mid this year in certain programs. If not, it'll have to be early next year. But hey, it's next semester just around the corner. So get yourself registered and get your visa sorted. So as soon as, like, if you study online, even if you study while you're holding the student visa, then you can just jump in as soon as the programs come out for international students to come. So the priorities that we guess is, it'll be first priority for the Australians to come back home, and then there'll be the next priority will be for international students to come into Australia as soon as the borders open. So,
okay, I think we're going to answer only 2 last questions before we end our session. So the second last question is from Carolina. Hi, any word on when the waivers will come into effect for work and holiday maker visa holders? Unfortunately, we really don't know an answer to that, but department keeps us update pretty frequently. If any change comes, then we will definitely let you know in one of our videos or through our Facebook. So stay tuned, then you will get to know. I've got Lena. Hi, my daughter is shifting to nursing for her studies in New South Wales. Would it be easier for her to get PR during her 485 in Queensland or in New South Wales? Lena, I think it will be easier both in Queensland and New South Wales if she wants to try maybe regional to get a job as a registered nurse once she graduates, because it's always, you need less points. Once I look at how many points she has and her prospects to increase her points, then I can give you a better understanding whether she should move to regional or stay in the city and try the 190. But New South Wales and Queensland both will have good prospects for registered nurse. So it's a good shift, I think.
Yeah. So I think we sort of done. Before we finish off, this is the grand finale offer for the week. So we were talking about some offers yesterday where we can help everyone out there if they want to, if they're unsure where they're heading and then they're lacking the information. So as of right now, until the end of the week, not this week, next week. So today is 25th. I don't know what's the day next week, next Friday. What date is it?
It's the 5th of March.
So until the 5th of March, there is normally we charge everyone an initial consultation fee. We will waive all the initial consultation fees until next Friday, the 5th of March. But please book an appointment through admin@sirus.com.au or our phone lines is the fastest way, 0733618177. One of the unique strengths that we proud ourselves about is any of our clients beforehand or afterhand, you can always contact one of us and get the updates of your file. So these slots are limited, and after yesterday's session, there's many of the slots being allocated. So if you have any migration related matters, we'll do the initial consultation free of charge for you. No obligations, you don't have to go with us, but we just want to share our knowledge and give you more information.
And say thank you for watching our videos and subscribing to our channel and supporting us throughout this way. We have received a few good compliments from our subscribers. Thank you so much. That encourages us to do more videos and share our knowledge with you more. All right,
and
thank
if you haven't
guys.
subscribed to our channel yet, please hit that subscribe button or the thumbs up button or the like button in the Facebook. I don't know what it is, but whatever you do, and that encourages us to come with more contents and share our knowledge and be close to you. Thanks very much again. Have a great weekend coming up after tomorrow. And we all had a very good time with you. Thank you.
Thank you.